Hi, so we've got our hands on a brand new Nord Stage 2 and we thought you might like to have a look at it and see all the exciting things it can do. So for starters, turning it on out of the pack, this is what you get. Just some of the best recorded, best sampled piano sounds that I've ever heard. Part of what makes them so beautiful is this feature called string resonance that takes any open string, so if I hold down this note without touching it, without playing it, like that, any note that I play that is a harmonic companion of that note will resonate in sympathy. Like that after the note. And that's what gives it such a rich sound when we put down the sustain pedal and makes it sound so realistic. Nord are really great at uploading new sounds all the time. So for example, the other day I just got this really great bright grand piano. And we can use an effect very quickly on that to make it sound even more like the Sara Bareilles song. Bit of compression and maybe some room reverb, and we'll get something like this. The idea. It sounds very cool already. There are of course a whole bunch of other different pianos, like upright pianos. This is a bit of a Coldplay sound on this one. Let's turn off that compression and the reverb back to normal a bit. The reverb section's really great if you want it to sound like you're in a big concert hall. Just twiddle that knob. There are a whole bunch of different upright pianos with all sorts of different characteristics. One of them is this, which sounds like every piano I ever played growing up. But so much more realistic than your standard honky-tonk sound on a keyboard. So that's just the piano section, which is this tiny bit here. If we move on to look at an organ, let me see what I can find for you. The organ part of the Nord is based on one of three organs. I'm going to start with a B3 Hammond sort of style organ, which works with drawbars, and it sounds a little bit like this. Bit of a gospel sound. One of the really cool things about playing the organ on the Nord is that it automatically moves the trigger point on the keyboard, so it feels much more like you're playing an organ and you can get these really fast runs in, rather than having to hit the keys like on a piano. And if we play with the drawbars, we can shape and get exactly the sound that we're after. Just like on a real Halen. And playing with Leslie speaker modulation as well. You get the idea. Then, of course, we can layer up all these different sounds and sections. There's also a synth section over here, which we'll talk about in a second. One of the patches I've built sounds a little bit like this. It starts off as just a normal, bright grand piano I was showing you before. We might put a little bit of delay onto the piano, like this. Maybe a bit more reverb. And then I can bring in a bit of synth. And maybe some bass. Cool. Other things that we can do are with the synth section, there's a whole bunch of sounds to get our teeth into. So for example, there are pre-programmed patches that do things like this. You get the idea. Massive synth sounds there straight away, ready for you to just play with straight out of the box. And then there's a whole load of features to do with a feature called Aftertouch, which works like this. You press down the key and you press it again harder after you've started, And you can modulate the sound in all sorts of different ways. So with this one, we can make up a little tune like this. Lots of fun. Or you might want to use some of the more realistic patches, which would be a bunch of things like this beautiful trumpet patch, which I'm going to find for you. Very nice indeed. And of course there's a whole fully featured arpeggiator section as well, which does a whole bunch of nice things. And of course everything's interactive, so for example this has no arpeggiator on it at the moment, but I can very quickly bring it in with the wheel. Which is all great, and it makes for a really, really playable keyboard. But I must say that my favourite thing, to go right back to the beginning, is just the beauty of these piano patches, and they sound so realistic and amazing. Just could get lost playing this forever.